with tab fixed odds for Grant Dixon. We'll be back with our feature in just a moment.
Remember what Winks brought to racing? Well, harness racing might have her equal. Leap to Fame is also developing a cult following at his home track, Albion Park, and he's back there on Saturday chasing a second Inter-Dominion pacing final. A victory on the weekend will make Leap to Fame Australasia's all-time richest pacer.
Oh, look, to be true, honest, like it was, it was a lifetime dream come true to win one. You sort of pinch yourself that you lined up to, maybe win two. So yeah, it would be really, really great if you can get it done.
Leap to Fame, Operation Inter-Dominion complete, and it's all Larry. Leap to Fame bolts in.
Oh, he's fantastic for the industry. He is the best horse that I've ever seen. He just epitomises everything that a good harness horse does. He can work, he can sprint. He's just a fantastic animal. I think he sits above all of them, in my opinion. I've seen horses for the past sort of 40 years I haven't seen before that, but he's definitely the best horse that I've ever seen.
Yeah, Tristan and I are happy with him. He seems well and bright, so just hoping for a good week with him, and fingers crossed for Saturday night.
If you need, and Dixon sits as cool as a cucumber, races away Leap to Fame, and bolts in. It's all Leap to Fame.
Yeah, we've been happy with both runs. He's got through the line good, and obviously the main thing is pulled up good after him.
He's just different gravy. Different gravy, my friends, Leap to Fame.
Just trying to keep up. I think that's our best go. He's just a standout, and it's really like it's an honour to be in a race with him when he's at his peak. Down the track we'll be able to say, we raced against Leap to Fame, and even in the heat the other night I was able to keep up with him down the back, and I said to him after the line, I was able to keep up with you down the back. I was pretty happy with that. So it's he's a generational a horse, and it's we're really lucky to be able to race against him, and for him to be in our lifetime, I think.
Inter-Dominion Grand Final. We're out here with Larry, as he's affectionately known, the superstar of harness racing, the winner of 55 out of 68 starts, Leap to Fame, $4 million in prize money, a chance to break Black Zafake's all-time record, and just a cool a customer as you will ever see. What a superstar he is.
And like Muhammad Ali, it's almost like he was saying, the champ is here, the champ is here. Yeah. It's wonderful to see all of these people that came down to the stables. He's now walked out into the parade ring, and everyone's just come down to get a great position to keep their eye on the champ. And this is the wonderful thing that Grant Dixon does so often when he brings him to the track. He gets him out here nice and early. He just loves soaking up the atmosphere, this horse. He's a big-time player. He loves winning these Group 1s. He's currently sitting on 11 Group 1s. He wins tonight, he goes to 12, and he joins the Australian record behind, along with a Lumbo Pocket Watch and Smoking Up. But he'll smash that ceiling at some point. It's inevitable, because he's just proven that he's one of the greatest that we've ever seen.
You know what, I've been lucky, Ryan, a couple of times to be at Randwick when Winks has come into the yard there, the theatre of the horse there, and I've never heard a horse elicit oohs and ahs from a crowd the way that the Winks did, and have people just with their eyes fixated. This is kind of the same, and obviously a little bit of a lesser scale, but it's packed here at Albion Park tonight, and I haven't seen harness racing scenes like this for a long, long time.
Yeah, and harness racing needs these heroes, and we've certainly got one with Leap to Fame, and it's wonderful that the Queenslanders have come to embrace him, because he's certainly one of their own. If he wins this tonight, he becomes the richest pacer ever in the Southern Hemisphere, breaking Black Zafake at his record, another fellow Queenslander. But I know there's people that have come from far and wide to see the champ here tonight, not just those in his own backyard.
I've heard some of the other participants call him the Usain Bolt or the Michael Jordan or the Tiger Woods.
Roll them all into one. That's Leap to Fame.
That's Leap to Fame. Let's join BK.
He is just that, guys. He's one of the most impressive athletes that we've ever seen across any sport. Here he is, Leap to Fame. They've queued up practically 15, 16 high on this front row just to be able to catch a glimpse of this superstar, Grant. Leap to Fame. Here he is. He speaks for himself.
Yeah, he's a good-looking rooster, and he gets his strut on.
What an excitement machine he's been able to be for us thus far in his career. This is another race to add to his legacy if he were to win it.
Yeah, it'd be great for his profile if he can manage to get it done, that's for sure.
You've been involved in harness racing for a long time. Just take a look up to your right and see the scenes that we're seeing here at the moment. People lining the parade ring. It's something we haven't seen for a very long time, but we are seeing tonight for this guy.
Yeah, it's really nice to see the support Larry gets, that's for sure.
I'm sure they're all going to go absolutely ballistic if he were to win. Good luck, Grant, aboard Leap to Fame.
Thanks, BK.
There is Larry, Leap to Fame, so he's one of the, I suppose, top chances. We are going to chat to another couple of drivers as they swing past. So the first one I'm hoping to catch up with is Will Rickson aboard Max Delight. We'll see if we can head over and just try and navigate in towards Max Delight. Of course, this horse is now known as Millionaire Max, so he is a pretty serious earner himself, Will.
Yeah, no, he is. He's been at this top level for a really long time, so it's exciting to have him in this.
This series he's been on top of his efforts. He's been absolutely superb without necessarily having the luck to win. He's going to need a little bit from barrier 11 tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole field's going to have a bit of luck to be Leap to Fame, but we know if he does, he's he's good enough to capitalise if things go our way. So yeah, fingers crossed.
David Aikens entrusted you with this guy for the last probably 6 months, and you've repaid him in spades. Good luck.
Thank you.
There's Max Delight and Will Rickson. Gee, you could continue lining up the quality here. We might have a chat to Josh Gallagher for the last word aboard See Ya Art. Josh, a horse that has won a Shirley Turnbull over these sorts of distances, but comes in here as effectively an unknown commodity. A great job from the stable and yourself to be able to get this horse back to his best.
Yeah, no, he's come to the stable, and we didn't really expect to be racing these better ones, but we're just happy to be part of it and glad to be in the race.
Just tell me what you're thinking. Leap to Fame drawing one, that's not his absolute forte. Your guy's got a lot of speed and he's shown it in this series. Are you keen to roll the dice to find a spot?
Yeah, I think we're going to press forward and try and be as handy as possible and try and find that.
Good luck.
Cheers.
So there is Josh Gallagher. It's really, really loud down here, guys. I'll hand it back to you for the moment. We'll just clear some of these horses and hopefully be back runner by runner. But from what we're hearing, CR's going to roll forward. Leap to Fame, the main attraction. There's so many cries of, come on, Leap to Fame. Let's go, Larry. The crowd is electric and it should be a great race.
Can hear a few of the punters there, BK, yelling out some words of encouragement behind you. It's great to hear. $1 million race now, Ryan. It's great to see prize money levels back where they are.
Absolutely, and Racing Queensland should be commended for their support of this series. Here for 3 years now, and I think that gives them a great chance to market this event, and we've seen that tonight really come to fruition, haven't we? But the prize money is certainly the most important component to this. This is our greatest race, and it deserves to be rewarded as such.
I caught up with Tim Mander, the MP and former NRL referee, who's been, of course, in Parliament for many, many years now, who's here on track tonight, and just thrilled at the success that harness racing has had in this state, and we'll replay that interview for you during our coverage over the next couple of races. But let's get into them now, into the runner by runner, as we have a look at the superstar. You run out of superlatives, really, to describe number one Leap to Fame for Grant Dixon, right?
Well, 68 starts, 55 wins. He's won his last 20 here at Albion Park. He's an 11-time Group 1 winner. He's earned over $4 million in prize money. He wins tonight. He becomes the richest pacer ever in the Southern Hemisphere. But what do we make of the draw? Look, I don't mind barrier number 1. I think he comes out well enough that Recaro Rebel from 2, I think, will show speed, that Grant will drift off the track. He's got his stablemate Tim's a Trooper, who's drawn 2 off the back row. I don't think that horse will punch up hard. I think Grant will find a gap early, and I'm tipping within the first lap he'll be in front and they won't see which way he went.
Yeah, I agree, Ryan. This is a race where they're running for second. It's hard to say in an Inter-Dominion, but Leap to Fame should be able to get out well enough that he's going to lead the race. He should be able to control the race. He should be able to win the race. He went 150 for his last mile. over 2,680 metres. You would imagine that he's going to go a pretty solid first mile, and then he'll just put pain to them in the second mile. He looks an absolute picture. He's come on every run that we've seen him this preparation, as you would have expected him to do. He's here tonight, full of fitness, full of character as always, and he is the on-topper quite easily.
If there was a boil over it would certainly be an emotional one if THOROUGHBRED was to win for James Herbertson and Jess Tubbs.
Oh, look, and good luck to Jess. There's Jess leading around THOROUGHBRED with James Herbertson, who's been a wonderful supporter of Jess through this very challenging time, losing her partner Greg, who was a winner here only a couple of years ago at Albion Park with the champion Just Believe. So we wish her all the best. Mares don't have a great strike rate in the Inter Dominion, so she's got that working against her, but the draw certainly is favourable, and she's one of the better free-for-allers in Victoria.
Absolutely nothing wrong with what she did on her heat on Saturday night, and she's won the Queen of the Pacific at 27.60 at Melton. So she's got some exposed long distance Group 1 victories over some marathon trips where she's won from 3 markers. Her best asset's her speed, so she'll dive for a spot on the markers, either crossing Larry early or trying to look for an opportunity to slot in behind. I think now from the draw she can run a really cracking race at some pretty silly odds, considering that one of Australia's best, James Herbertson, takes the seat.
One of the key players, perhaps from a place perspective, might be number 3, Speak the Truth, Nathan Dawson, Shannon Price.
And Shannon Price has really been one of the trainers of this series. Good luck to her. She has 2 runners in this race. The first of them, Speak the Truth, and Nathan Dawson is taking the drive. So on that score, the fact that Adam Sanderson is the stable's number 1 driver, maybe this is considered the second stringer. Disappointed in the first heat, but probably didn't have a lot of luck there either, but then bounced back to win the second heat. He's 3rd in a Miracle Mile, so that speaks to his class. 3,157, maybe he's not the worst.
It's tricky to find where to map him because there isn't an immediately obvious spot where he gets to, and there'll be limited pressure from out wide to get forward, so there's not going to be a cover horse for him. I have a feeling this is the race where you need to be in the first few to run prominently. Certainly a marker line position helps, but even if he is parked out, he's quite a tough individual.
4 See Art can certainly run a cheeky race. Josh Gallagher, Kerry-Anne Morris.
One of 2 runners for Kerry-Anne Morris, so well done to her on qualifying 2 horses for the big one. See Art ran second 4 runs ago to Leap to Fame, and on that score, it's a pretty good form line. However, his form since, I think, has just been okay, and even though he's got good early gate speed, I think he needs to improve a little bit if he's to finish in the numbers.
Yeah, I'm going to leave him by, but he's definitely resurrected some form this series.
5 Pete Sedso has been a marvel. Robbie Morris, Kerry-Anne Morris.
Yeah, and the second of their runners, and I'd probably prefer Pete Sedso over CUR just on that score. He's such an honest horse, this one, Pete Sedso. This is his 4th Inter Dominion final in a row, which is quite extraordinary. We'll need the sort of typical Robbie Morris drive to, be economical and take all the gaps, but I've got a few in front of him.
Yeah, he ran the fastest last 800 metres in the Sure Thing Captain race last week, but another who the barrier has just totally cruelled, so we'll have to look for those opportunistic runs, and so often he finds them, but I can't go with any great confidence with the 5.
There wasn't a lot between Don Hugo and Leap to Fame in the betting last week. Number 6, Luke McCarthy, who trains and drives, but was last week a gutbuster.
Well, look, on that score, it didn't go right last week from barrier number 1 for Don Hugo. He has beaten Leap to Fame, but that was over the mile in a Miracle Mile. Now we're talking about 3,157 metres, and look, to be honest, the jury's still out for me whether he actually can stay that sort of trip, Don Hugo. It's a bit of a sticky draw. I respect Luke McCarthy as a trainer-driver. I personally couldn't have him second favourite on what he did last time, but I'm respecting him just on what I know he can do historically.
Yeah, this year's Miracle Mile winner is logically the second best horse in this race, but his effort last start has me gravely concerned. It wasn't even that he went below expectation, which was surprising enough, but it was just the manner in which it all transpired. It became an unnecessary gutbuster, in the words of Luke McCarthy. The horse has, in my mind, always been suspect at 2 miles, but I'm not convinced that even one of the smartest operators in the Southern Hemisphere will patch him up 7 days later and produce a 30-metre better effort to challenge Leap to Fame. I think the barrier draw only compounds the issue. I would need a starting price of $15 or better to get excited about Don Hugo.
All right, 7 Catch a Wave, Kate Gath, Andy Gath.
Now, he's not known for his staying prowess, but what we've got to say is this is one of the class horses in the field. He's won $2.2 million in prize money. He's an 8-time Group 1 winner. He runs his best races when you least expect it. Catch a Wave. He's an enigma. He was a roughie when he ran second in a Victoria Cup one night, and my goodness, if it wasn't one of the runs of his career from a very similar bad draw to this, you know, he's a knockout chance. I wouldn't underestimate him.
Oh, talk about Jekyll and Hyde, but he might actually relish these conditions. That's, I suppose, the only option for him, to be driven dead cold and come with one run. His run night 2 was exceptional. Section leap covered 13 metres more than Leap to Fame. He was beaten 22.5. So I'm not saying he can win, but if he were to cover every step of the 3,157 and he unleashes with that turn of foot he's got, he might be a sneaky.
A lot of good judges have number 9, Captain's Knock, as the Quinella horse here, Ryan. Brad Hewitt.
Oh, gee, everyone's jumped out of trees this week, haven't they, to tip him a place, which I have as well. I've got him my second pick in the race. He's run third in a Chariot Safari. He probably came into this series with a little bit of a question mark, but goodness me, his 2 heat runs have just been absolutely exceptional from poor draws. Now he gets the perfect draw, just to be economical on the pegs, and when Leap to Fame puts the hammer down, the breaks are going to come, and you want a fresh horse. I think that horse that's going to be fresh legs at the end of the race will be Captain's Knock. I've got him my second pick.
And the reason is that he ran such a strong 26.80 and just kept coming through the line behind Speak the Truth. He returned 54.80s last 800. He burned 26.8 for the third quarter, 33 metres more than the winner, and was beaten 3. So he's on the markers every step of the way here. A dynamic that's so important in a 2-mile race.
I think 10 Tim's a Trooper was broken in at the same time as Leap to Fame. Hasn't quite gone to the same heights, but still in the Dominion Grand Final, Jack Chappell.
Yeah, and the breaker of that horse said that Tim's a Trooper was probably better than Leap to Fame. Haven't things changed since then? He's a place chance in this race, Jason, because if I'm Jack Chappell, I'm not even trying to hold a 2 wide position. I'm trying to get straight onto the back of Captain's Knock and hopefully run into a hole.
Just a minor place possibility here, even though his sectionals last week read 53.6 and 26.3 for the third quarter.
11 is Max Delight, Will Ricks and David Aiken.
And outside of Leap to Fame, I rate him as the second best stayer in the race. So on that, I think he's a serious chance. He's just been so honest at the Group 1 level for many years now. What a credit it is to legendary trainer David Aiken. Will Rickson is a fantastic young driver. I think he's good value as far as a place is concerned.
Absolutely, Ryan. Top 4 chance. Everything you said, I wholeheartedly agree with.
In a Dominion Pacing Grand Final, Sky One viewers join us. 12 Sure Thing captain, unbeaten in the heats. He's $34. Adam Sanderson, Shannon Price.
Yeah, and he's going for 4 in a row. Shannon Price has done a great job with this horse. 3,157 metres, and the distance is going to be a real test, but it's hard to knock him.
He's going really well, but I just don't think that a speed horse over these conditions drawn badly is the way to go.
And 13, a Rhoda, Trista Dixon, Grant Dixon.
Well, Trista is often referenced as the co-trainer from Grant of Leap to Fame, and she's driving a Rhoda, so they've got 1, they've got 13, so from the best to the worst, but they've got Tim's a Trooper as well. A Rhoda's going to need a lot of luck.
Not for me tonight, though.
Leap to Fame is 116 out to 122, so just getting out a fraction in the betting. There's been Don Hugo, 750 out to 950. Captain's Knock is 16 out to $21. A little bit of specking for Max Delight, who's 34 into $23, and Sure Thing Captain is 34 into $26 as well. So certainly very, very short, but just getting out a fraction here, Ryan.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. I'm cheering the champ, Leap to Fame. I've got Captain's Knock. As for mine, a clear second pick. I think he's a terrific place chance. Don Hugo in for third, and Catch a Wave could be a smoky as far as the exotics are concerned, BK.
Yeah, I think that the broadly similar results will come through here, Ryan. I'm with 1 Leap to Fame on top. He picks himself. $1.22 is still quite generous on the way that I think he's going to beat these. To beat the 9 Captain's Knock, getting a real economical run. 11 Max Delight, and 3 Speak the Truth deserves top 4 billing. 1, 9, 11 and 3. Brittany Graham, the $1 million Inter Dominion, is back on Albion Park soil.
Well, all the chats about Larry, BK, but this guy holds a crown, Don Hugo, and Luke, you'll be doing all in your power to retain it. How do you do it?
I'm not sure yet, Brittany. But look, he's had a good week. He's warmed up nice, and yeah, we just have to see how the race unfolds. But I'm really happy with the horse and himself.
He had a really tough run last week, but he's clearly bounced through it to my eye. And from your comments, gate 6, what do you do early?
Tricky draw. You probably got to come out and have a bit of a look and just see what happens early.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Luke McCarthy knows how to win a big race, that's for sure and certain, and he has Don Hugo as his charge. Now, Leap to Fame's just walking past me, and I just want to make one comment as we're on starting time, so we are going to clear the track, but he has some bandaging on tonight, Leap to Fame, that I haven't seen him have in the past. He has his bumpers bandaged, which he doesn't normally have, and also around his coronet band, his near side front foot as well. So just take that into account. I watched him warm up. He warmed up 100% sound, nothing to be concerned on in that respect, but I feel as though it's my responsibility to pass on information, and that's some information that I have taken after seeing him step out on track here tonight. But what a magnificent beast he is. I can't foresee there being a genuine challenger to him early on here. This 3,100 metre starting point, which is the usual 2138 metre starting point, is very fair. They get a real run at the gate, and I think more so that point than a Brack Straight starting point he'd be likely to hold up from. He gets his opportunity. If he leads this into Dominion, how do they possibly beat him? Therefore, Captain's Knock is a horse to include in your multiples. I'd also include Max Delight and Tim's a Trooper, as I think they'll be diving to the fence and they can take all of the shortcuts. Can he do it? Can he become the richest standard bred ever in the history of Southern Hemispherical harness racing? We're about to find out with Chris Barsby.
The starter is calling the field to the gate. The main race tonight, $1 million up for grabs. All eyes on the local hero, Barrier 1, Leap to Fame. We're just about set to the judge and 3 full circuits here of Albion Park. Ready. There's the light. They're off and pacing. He gets crossed easily. Speak the Truth flies off, leads Sia Art, and Don Hugo's racing up. He gets involved early. Pete said so, diving down to the inside. Leap to Fame able to work one off. Rakiro Rebel, Captain's Knock over on the inside. Tim's a Trooper, Max Delight, Sure Thing, Captain Aroda. Catch a Wave drifting back from his draw, and he's going to balance up at the tail. Don Hugo was able to cross. Retake move, Speak the Truth, pop the pocket early. Races around the outside and takes the lead. Speak the Truth heading down the back straight on the first occasion. Leads the way, the margin 5 metres. Give and go tactics by McCarthy. But here comes Leap to Fame. He's looming large on the outside of Speak the Truth, and he's about to take full control as they push towards that top turn. Leap to Fame rushes on by. Speak the Truth doesn't engage. He's happy to trail. Don Hugo racing third. Sia Art is fourth. Pete said so the inside. Rakiro Rebel left parked out. Captain's Knock is down on the inside. Next is Max Delight. Tim's a Trooper. Sure Thing, Captain Aroda. Catch a Wave sits last on the outside. They're into the home straight once again. Leading the way, it's the local hero, Leap to Fame, and Dixon slows it right down now. Leap to Fame leading 5 metres. Speak the Truth is right on his helmet in second. Don Hugo, the defending champ, sits third. Rakiro Rebel, she's got to do it the hard way. The lone mare in the race, she's without cover. Over on the inside is Sia Art, working into it perfectly here. Max Delight. Next is Pete Said So, Sure Thing, Captain. Next is Captain's Knock, Catch Your Wave, Tim's a Trooper, and Aroda's now last on the outside. Into the back straight. They push towards the mile marker. Leap to Fame. He's really controlling the tempo here. Dixon knows where each and every rival is, and he leads 5 metres here. Leap to Fame over Speak the Truth. Rakiro Rebel still cutting the breeze. Down on the inside, Don Hugo. He's racing 4-3 back. One by one, Max Delight. Sia Art the marker line. Next, Sure Thing, Captain. Then Pete Said So, Catch a Wave. Captain's Knock, he's third last. He's on the inside, Aroda. And Tim's a Trooper. He sits last on the inside. That lead time, 1:57.4. 1,200 metres left to run. Into Dominion Pacing Grand Final. Leading the way, it's the local hero, Leap to Fame, the biggest name in the game. And he's out in front. by 5 metres. First quarter of the last mile, 30.5. We have a lap left to run. Leap to Fame, Speak the Truth, Rakiro Rebel still without cover. Max Delight, the Evergreen 1-1. Don Hugo locked away, 3 back on the inside. Then Sure Thing Captain. See Ya Art, Catch a Wave, Pete said so. Where's Captain's Knock? Knock, knock. Who's there? It's the Captain. He's third last, down on the inside, needing a lot of luck. Then a Rhoda, and last Tim's a Trooper. 800 metres left to run, second quarter, 29.9. Welcome to the Larry Show, entering the back straight. Leap to Fame is starting to get through the gears, and they are low flying down the back. It's Leap to Fame. Leap to Fame, 5 metres. Rakiro Rebel without cover. Leaders back third, Speak the Truth. Max Delight yet to peel. Don Hugo locked away. See Ya Art. Sure Thing Captain. Pete said so. Then Catch a Wave. Captain's Knock, a Rhoda. Tim's a Trooper. No moves. He's in full flight. What a sight. Leap to Fame at the top of the lane. Leap to Fame getting clear. Margin 7 metres. Speak the Truth. They enter the home running. Leap to Fame. He's got them again. More into Dominion glory. Leap to Fame forever lives in the Hall of Fame. A modern day champion becomes racing royalty. Leap to Fame. Speak the Truth. Photo third. Seard or Don Hugo. Max Delight next in. Then Pete said so. Captain's Knock. Tim's a Trooper. Sure Thing Captain. Catch a Wave. Rakiro Rebel. And back of the tail a Rhoda. Final split 26.6. The mile rate 157.8 for racingandsports.com.
He is racing royalty indeed, Chris. So what a performance by an out-and-out champion. Leap to Fame. It was as easy as we all thought it might be. He didn't really have to work too hard to get clear. In fact, when they were sort of in almost Indian file there at one point, he was able to get out, find the lead, and then just lead them around and show us just what an absolute superstar he is.
Well, quite simply, his 11th Group 1 was his easiest. It was just a walk in the park for Leap to Fame. He was able to extricate off the pegs very early for Grant Dixon. He got to the lead within 600 metres. He pretty much had whatever time of it he wanted in front Grant Dixon for the first part of that race, and then really just put the hammer down for the last 1,200 metres. And as you can see there, he's better than everything else. If you're any further than 2 off the pegs, you're no chance of making any ground on Leap to Fame. Look, terrific win. He's a champion, one of the greats. And as easy as you like, PK.
Just a crowning moment that is so exceptional for Leap to Fame. I mean, we know how good he is. They respected him on that basis. He tore them apart. It was one of those races where, you know, racing that comes to mind, we think of Black Caviar and how easily she won, or Winks in her Cox Plates, how easily she won, maybe with the exception of the Humidor one. But this is just a crowning moment for what is one of, well, now undisputably Australasia's and the Southern Hemisphere's best harness racing.
It was men against boys, really, wasn't it? No, there was a mare in the race, but he was just a different gravy tonight, and has been for quite some time now. It's been a long time since anyone's beaten here at Albion Park, and this may well be his crowning achievement, Britt.
Thanks, Jason. Yes, this is going to be special. He's now the richest standardbred in the Southern Hemisphere. And he's done it in the most remarkable of fashions here in front of his home crowd. Firstly, Grant, congratulations. They cheered for him every lap, and then as he's about to come back to scale, I'm sure you're going to get another big cheer, but relief, you've done it again.
Yeah, it sure was a big relief, you know. We just, yeah, like it looked his race to lose, and you just, with racing, you never count your chickens, and yeah, I'm sure glad it's over.
You were crossed at the start. Run us through your emotions at that point.
Oh, look, it just, you know, the main thing's not the panic and just keep trying to get him into the clear, which worked out okay. And, yeah, and then it wasn't too bad after that, just keeping him as steady as I could until we had to go.
Take this in for a moment. They're chanting Larry here at Albion Park this evening. They just love him, Grant. That must make this incredibly special. We don't see this ever, often, if ever. Here's Coop. He was able to pick a barrier draw for the team. The boys were involved from start to finish, and I'm sure Trista will be on her way shortly. But this is uncharted territory for harness racing, and you're in the thick of it.
Yeah, it's amazing to think. You know, Larry's come along, and, you know, I think he's one of the greatest of all times, and now he's, you know, eclipsed stake earnings, and he thoroughly deserves it, that's for sure.
He looked so comfortable out in front. There was always that little query over 3,100 metres. I think we were all fully aware that he was going to love distance, but did he ever feel under any pressure?
No, he done it really well, and my thing, I just kept telling him, buddy, we've got to go an extra lap tonight, so just take it easy for a while.
Trista loves this horse. The whole family love him. She was out there. Did you get an opportunity to see her past the post, or was he too far in front of everyone?
Trista was just back a bit. I haven't seen her yet, so I'll just wait for her to come up.
She's on her way. She'll be here shortly. But I just wanted to touch on the fact that I noticed tonight he had a little bit of extra bandaging. Did he have some challenges through the week that you had to keep under your hat? And was that a worry at any point?
Oh, look, he had a bit of a buck through the week, and he clipped his heel. So we just been looking after it all week. But it was never really going to be an issue. But yeah, I think he was just feeling too good through the week.
Tick another into Dominion. What's next? What's left on the list of Larry?
No, just try and keep him ticking over as good as we can, as long as we can.
Well done, Grant. Thank you for sharing him with us. We all love him. Probably not as much as you, but we love watching him race, and it's been such a special experience to be a part of. Enjoy it.
Thanks very much, Brittany. Cheers.
Grant Dixon there, and here comes wife Trista. This is going to be a special moment. Oh, she's gone to Larry first before Grant. Anyway, we'll get to Kevin and Kay Seymour shortly. But what a special moment here at Albion Park. He's now a dual Inter-Dominion champ. Leap to fame.
There are special moments in time, aren't there, when you just feel privileged to be present when you see greatness, whether that be human or equine. And I think this is one of those moments where I think we all can share that privilege, that it's a night that we're all going to remember.
Bear in mind these couple of thoughts. He's 6 years old and he's a stallion. So he's still got a lot of time to race, and goodness me, what he's going to be worth when he decides to go to stud.
I want to ask you both, where do you think he rates against the Black Safakes, the I'm a Mighty Quins, the Village Kids, the Popular Arms? Where is he on that echelon? I know we don't like to rank different eras, but he'd have to be in the conversation.
Look, I'm only relatively young into my experience of harness racing, but this is a horse that I think there is no rival of. I mean, he's won the most money. He brings people to the races almost unlike any other horse in the last probably 30 or 40 years. And what a special moment to be able to share it with everyone, Ryan. I mean, he's a horse of the people, as we saw tonight here at Albion Park. So for all of the reasons that we've been able to see, and there are upwards of 50 wins, and every one of them has been very special. But this is just a horse that we very rarely see.
He is the best, Jason. We've had horses that have captured the public's imagination, like the Popular Arms of the world, the Christian Cullens.
Yes.
Black Safake was an out-and-out champion. I'm the Mighty Quinn as well. Lazarus, he has the benchmark of 15 Group 1s. He does it over every single distance. He does it from every single position. But aside from that, BK, as he mentioned, the time he's been in the game, I probably started in harness racing in the early 80s. I listen to people like Anthony Butt, who is a legend of the Inter-Dominion. He says it's the greatest he's ever seen. Luke McCarthy, who we rate as our James McDonald and our Chris Waller Roland one, he says it's the best he's seen. So I err to those guys, and if they say he's good enough, then he's got to be good enough.
Absolutely, that's a great point you make, and I think in modern times to see a crowd like this still here cheering on this horse, we just, as Britt said, we haven't seen that for such a long time. Harness racing's got such a proud history, and we used to pack out Harold Park in the day. I remember going out to Harold Park in the 90s when Christian Cullen was winning Miracle Miles and the like, but we haven't seen it for a good couple of decades now, something like this.
Well, when there was the Yule Star in a Dominion, probably, the crowd was good that night, probably not even as good as this in some respects, but I was here when Village Kid and Jack Morris won their Inter-Dominions, and you couldn't move in the place, and it's so heartwarming to see a great crowd like this here tonight, and they're here for one horse. Yes, there's 5 Group 1s, but they're here for Larry tonight, and he's delivered for them, and it's just a proud moment for harness racing. I really need to acknowledge Kevin and Kay Seymour once again, the support that they give to harness racing. There's Kevin and Kay. Kevin, the grey-haired gentleman with his wife Kay there in the pink jacket as well. The amount of money and support effort they put into harness racing over the years. They deserve a champion like this, and he shares it. Kevin and Kay, they share Leap to Fame with the public, not just here in Queensland, New Zealand, right around Australia. It's really great to see.
Much like Chris Waller did with Winks, in showing her off to all the fans, and I guess that there are other similarities. She was able to win in any circumstance and over a range of trips as well. She brought a new audience to thoroughbred racing, just like Larry is bringing a new audience to harness racing.
And you know, one of the most remarkable things I always see about this horse is where he's going now back to the stables, Jason. I've often gone there straight after the race when we've gone to an ad break just to see his recovery. I've never seen a horse recover quicker. By the time you get down there into the ad break, he'd be drinking his molasses water and he'd barely blow a candle out. He's just got an extraordinary constitution, and I think that's a testament to his heart and his lung capacity. He's just an amazing animal.
Well, Farlap was like that, wasn't he? And from a human version, you think about athletes like Michael Phelps, who were just just different gravy to the rest of us, not only in their physiology but in their heart and their will to win, and everything that makes a champion athlete, whether that be human or equine. And we're certainly seeing a champion in every sense of the word here tonight.
Well, just in terms of what Leap to Fame's been able to do in his career, he's won a Miracle Mile, so he's won at a short course, which is effectively a 100-metre sprint for our game. So it's like Usain Bolt coming out and winning 100 metres and then going to the 1500 metres and toweling them up there as well. We're talking about an elite athlete, the likes of which we may never have ever seen before.
I reckon that was a bit of a relief for Grant Dixon tonight as well, just in those pre-race interviews that, even with you, BK, he's not a man of a lot of words, Grant Dixon, but I could just tell he was feeling a little bit of that pressure tonight. That'll be a real relief for Grant because, obviously with the sense of history that a race like this brought with it, for him to win and win that comfortably, I'm sure would be a major relief and a testament to their partnership, Grant and Trista. Well, I know we wax lyrical about this horse, but you've only seen the amount of runners that they've had throughout all of these Group 1s tonight. They've got a lot of depth in their stable that they've built over the last sort of 5 to 10 years, and certainly a lot of them on the back of this horse. But they've had good horses for a long time. Jeremy Lee was probably one of the first really good horses that Grant had. I think that was sort of back in the 90s. Colt 31 in recent times, a horse that really brought him along. But the quality stock that they have at the moment, he is the #1 trainer in Australia right now. Make no mistake about that.
You can only beat what's in front of you, and they say that every great champion needs a great rival. But he beat them up like they were standing still tonight. Who's going to be his great rival?
Swayze's his only rival, particularly over this sort of distance. Swayze has beaten him. He's beaten him in a Hunter Cup. He's beaten him here in a Black Safake. He's a 2-time New Zealand Cup. Now, there's the race. The New Zealand Cup. Swayze and Leap to Fame. And
Early November.
That's where they're going to go. It's the second week in November. That will be a race. I think from what we've seen, Don Hugo over a mile, he might put the fear into Grant a little bit with Leap to Fame, but over a staying trip, his older brother Swayze, bear that in mind, they're related. His older brother, his only arch rival is his older half brother. It's extraordinary. So it just lends even further to the let us reason line and his worth when he hits start. It's going to be incredible.
They call him Junior.
They wouldn't dare, would they?
It's like the War Brothers or something.
they wouldn't dare. But, it was a pretty pedestrian, I think it's fair to say. We've seen now 2 finals, and I'm pretty sure Racing Queensland will put their hand up after this to say, well, we're not doing 3,100 metres next year, because I think it's fair to say that the first section of these races was not entertaining. But once he put the hammer down, Grant, it was obviously going to be curtains for anything that had to come wide on the track. Let's just see whether the times are up here now, and I'll read them out to you. So the lead time was, what do we got there? A minute 17.5. First quarter 30.5, 29.9. So, look, yes, it's 3,100, but that's for his standards, BK, isn't it? That's pretty easy for the first half for Leap to Fame. Then 26.6 and 26.5. So if you are any further off the pegs than 2 wide, you are no chance of making ground in those times.
There was just such a dominant performance, and You're right, Ryan. He just was able to dawdle along as he liked. It was practically a track work speed for him, and then he's just been able to rip them apart with 2 sectionals that, mind you, would be miracle mile sectionals. I mean, he's run practically this race like a mile journey. He's just closed them out from about the 800 metres. It was all she wrote, and he just surged away from them.
And we always thought that he was going to be the one that was going to be advantaged by the extra trip anyway.
Yeah.
More so than any of his rivals, and that proved to be the case.
Yeah, absolutely. That was always, the case when I think they put up... Did they put up $1.90 early? In every interview I ever did, I said it's just taking money from...
Well, I mean, $1.22 was a lot better than bank interest.
Well, because the longer the races go, the better he is. And as you see, he just extends here. It's pegs, pegs, pegs. So... second was Speak the Truth behind leader. Third was See Art for the pegs. Don Hugo was fourth, 3 the pegs. So, anything wide, like Max Delici's kind of enormous. Short thing Captain's Knock, look at him getting out late. So anything wide on the track has gone really well, but it was just a one-act affair.
Yeah, absolutely. It was it was complete domination, as we hoped, I suppose, for many, and expected as well. And we might be able to catch up with Kevin and Kay. I know they've been busy accepting the adulation and the plaudits from this huge crowd here tonight. Likewise, Grant and Trista Dixon.
As good as Leap to Fame was, there were some other horses in the race, and we do need to say that Speak the Truth was excellent. See Art, gee, what a revelation he's been since he's gone to the Kerry Ann Morris stable. Came from New Zealand, won a Shirley Turnbull Memorial for Jason Grimson, has come here tonight and run third for Kerry Ann Morris in an Inter-Dominion Grand Final. Don Hugo was good. Luke McCarthy has done his best to patch him back together after an unnecessary gutbuster last week. But those 2 beaten brigades, Speak the Truth and See Art, their connections will be just as proud of them as Kevin and Kay are of Leap to Fame, because they've gone and raced effectively an unbeatable horse and have run really nice races.
Well, it was take Leap to Fame out and it's best of the rest, and it's still good money for running a place in an Inter-Dominion Grand Final in a $10 million race.
Absolutely, but as we were saying before, that's what it should be. The Inter-Dominion is our pinnacle race. We've got a pinnacle horse. He should be racing for pinnacle prize money, and he's got that tonight, and because they've done it, we now get a record here tonight, which is exciting to celebrate.
It certainly is. It's been a night to remember, no doubt about it, and we've still got a couple of races to come as we have the all clear now, with Leap to Fame having won it in such emphatic fashion, the Inter-Dominion Grand Final here for the Pacers. The next is the trotting free-for-all Group 3 race over 2,680 metres. Aldebaran Crux at $1.95.
We go from the easiest race of the night to pick to the hardest of the night to pick.
Well, we will, but before we shoot off to a break, we can get back to Britt, who's, I think, chased up another interview for us.
Thanks, guys. We're going to try and negotiate the crush here and have a chat to Kevin and Kay Seymour if we can, of course. I'm sure the elated owners of this superstar Leap to Fame, of course, they've been kind enough to share him with us during his journey, and they've been well documented that this is the horse they've been waiting a lifetime to be involved with, and they've managed to get him at the perfect time. Kevin and Kay, I know that you don't like interviews, but we need to chat to you because you've just won another Inter-Dominion with your star pacer. Congratulations, Kevin. I know how much this would mean to you, but the second time around, did you allow yourself to enjoy it a little more?
Well, no, unfortunately, our biggest problem has been that we've been worried all week, and I'm sure Grant's been the same. We've been like cats on a hot tin roof. But, you know, one of the things I guess that we didn't want to do from the public's point of view, we didn't want to see him get beaten. You know, there's such an expectation about how, you know, sort of good horse he is and how he was going to break the Australasian record for a pacer. And it's just that excitement as it builds up into a crescendo tonight, and we were so worried that, you know, what would happen at the start, where would he go, how would he get out, you know, would he get boxed in on the fence and finish up 5 or 6 back on the fence. That was all the things that sort of got us tension up.
Didn't want to let the people down that have come a long way, a lot of people, just to see him race tonight.
And when you look at the crowd, look at the crowd here tonight. I mean, the people are still in the stand after the race when most people go home. the people are still here and want to be part of harness racing. It's such a wonderful feeling.
They cheered for him every lap. They were cheering for him in the parade ring. Go Larry, not something I've heard of a lot in my time covering the sport, Kay, but Kevin just mentioned the fact that he was a little bit wound up this week, waiting for the time and day to come. What about yourself?
Oh, the same. I try not to think about it, but you just think there's so much pressure there. And I just felt for Trista and Grant. I mean, the pressure on them must have been enormous. But no, they're amazing, and we've got a lot to thank them for. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have Larry. So, yeah.
And he is amazing. He is quite incredible to do what he's done here tonight, break that record as well. And because he's a stallion and the record that he has and all that he's done, we're all waiting for the time when you say, okay, off to stud. But he's just racing so well. Surely we get another year or two out of him.
He's not going to go to stud while he's still racing well and winning races. He'll still race for as long as he's able to win races.
And that's said by Mrs. Seymour.
She stepped in there.
She did.
That's fair.
But no, we're right now. We're taking race meeting at a time. We want to go to New Zealand for the New Zealand Cup. I think that would be the crowning glory. And after that, then we'll review his racing and potential stud career. Funny enough, tonight we had a talk to Jackie Gibson, and one of the first questions Jackie said, "Gee, that would make a great union, Leap to Fame, and I Keep Smiling."
Yeah.
And it would too, of course.
He is going to be a very popular horse at that point, but for now, we're just loving watching him race. Thank you so much for sharing him with us. He's the people's horse now. He's not just yours, he's all of ours, and that's because you've really allowed us to be involved in the journey. So congratulations and enjoy this.
Okay.
Thanks very much, Brittany.
Thanks very much. Thank you.